Greetings, beings, and happy birthday to all Sagittarians and early Capricorns. Welcome to your mid-monthly December reading for the Tarot by Tribe series. I'm Reverend Jakob Martinez, the Crystal Haiku Guy, and I run this channel. Thank you so much for being here. Please make sure that you are considered a legal adult wherever you are, because this channel is M for mature audiences only. I stress that because I communicate with your spirit guides, and sometimes the messages can be pretty intense, and I tend to use strong language. So keep that in mind, because based on your preferences, I may or may not suit your fancy, and it's okay either way. God bless you. So I do this Tarot by Tribe series twice a month. Each of these videos is going to be broken down in a specific fashion. I recommend that you look at your sun, your moon, and your rising or ascendant signs. If you don't know what that is, just look for a free birth chart online so you'll know how to navigate here. It will be helpful to you. Some people also like to look at other planets, Mars, Mercury, whatever, Venus. Please have a look wherever you like. I just keep them organized so they're easy to bounce between. The beginning of each of these videos is basically going to be the intro, and then I'm going to have the front section where I will shuffle 5 different decks that I'm going to use, and that's usually where the channel messages will show up. I recommend taking a look at them just purely based off the feedback that I've been getting since I started this channel in May this year. I've been getting some rockin' feedback about the channeled messages at the front end. So if you're actually looking for spirit messages, sometimes I just get grabbed by y'all's guides. They tell me what's up, and instead of being a shyster about it, I put it there for you. So take a look at it if you want. If you just want to jump to the cards, guess what? Click under the description box, that show more button. You're going to see 3 chapters, 1 for each of the tribes that are associated with that element. Okay, so how I'm going to break them down for you. Challenge style energy, I'm going to use Carolyn Mace's archetype cards because they give us a light and shadow attribute to help us understand what's ahead. We take a look at the physical material realm using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, and then I use the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck for the mental sector. And for the personal, sometimes romance sector, we use the Doreen Virtues Romance Angels Oracle deck, and I like to seal them all up with a little practical advice and a prayer from Archangel Michael using Doreen Virtues Archangel Michael deck. And that's pretty much what I got there. Now, if you are looking for a personal or private look into your own life picture, I'd love to do those. I've decided to extend my special on the future forward readings. I got great feedback on those from people. They usually are about 2 hours in length because it's so specific. I literally break apart the next year of your life. And I also help you see how things are usually going based on your emotional reactions to life. So it's like kind of explaining your karmic choices before you so that this new year ahead, you're actually stepping more into your dharma, because that's what this polarizing year of 2016 has been about for most of us, is that wake-up call of, now I want to do it different, and I want to make sure that I'm not like tripping over my freaking shoelaces over and over again. And that's pretty much what I'm hearing from most of my people. So I'm running a very deep discount on that reading, and also on my very personalized, detailed readings. So my personal readings, I don't even like to call them a general reading because there's so much information that goes into them, and they're very detailed because of how your guides communicate with me. Most of the times I don't even need cards for them. I just kind of use them as a visual aid to show you confirmation of everything that was channeled. So if you're interested in that, those are usually between about 45 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on your guides and how they communicate with me. But I'm running kick-ass special on that too. So these aren't listed with the specials on my website. You feel free to check it out. Either way, it's artoflove.me. But if you just want information about doing a personal with me, the specials are good for all orders placed between now, as I'm recording this, is the 12th of December, through the 20th. And if you just send an email to prayer@fatheroftribes.com, I'll hit you back. All that information's below, and I'm not going to digress anymore. I'll see you on the inside of your reading. Greetings, Earth Tribes. How you doing? Happy middle of the month to you. Just clearing the space here. I've been getting a lot of messages. I just decided to cut water and earth today. I kind of have like a rotation that my guides have me do to make sure everything's fair and who gets to go first and like what seasons and stuff. And so I had to wait for you guys, and we had a full moon, super moon in Gemini, and I've had to rest myself appropriately and regenerate myself to do this because of how it affects me on a physical level, to go into this state and channel for you guys. It's like, you know, something I really kind of take my time with. So I've just been getting so many messages, and there were tons that came up with the water tribes too, and so many that, I mean, felt very personal that, I mean, I didn't even write them all down because it was just too much. You know, I can kind of make myself feel insane if I'm like trying to digest for all y'all. If you need a personal, reach out. If you like my work, tip me. Go right ahead. I appreciate it. Some of y'all have, and I've appreciated that. That's nice. But if you need a personal reading and you're struggling with something right now, it might be a good time to get some help. I've been getting a lot of like judgment messages for today that came with both the water tribes and also with you all. And I was saying, you know, I don't want to be negative or anything, but I was actually like seeing somebody like going like this, and it was like somebody that was like sitting on the throne or at the pulpit or whatever, and I'd seen something similar coming up. I think it was mostly with the Pisceans, I want to say, in the water tribes readings. You might want to check their channeled section. There was some stuff coming up with judgments. It wasn't like just positive or negative, but this one here that I was just seeing now was kind of like a reason for concern for me. I was really seeing somebody that was like sitting in that authoritative position, and they were just like, nope, not going to have it. And I just see them like doing the thumbs down and like doing like this. And I'm hearing some of it has to do with reconciliations. They're giving me a lot of messages about love and like people just being tempted right now by stuff outside of their, in some cases, relationships, and in some cases for very good reason. I'm hearing some people have been like called to sacrifice certain relationships because they're at that point, and the Ten of Swords literally flew out of the deck for you guys while I was clearing space, and I was like seeing it a lot too for like the water tribes. So you might have water in your chart, maybe you're dealing with water people, I don't know, but this is a theme. It came out again, and I was hearing some things were like called to an end specifically because they were only there for karmic reasons anyway to help you get to where you are now. And in some cases, it's like cut bait time. People are trying to get clear because they're doing new things in the new year. And other times I'm hearing it's just because they're saying you're bored. They're saying somebody's bored. They're saying some people are bored and that they're just kind of dealing with like temptations, but it's like karmic stuff, and that some of y'all like really know better because you have already learned better about yourself and you know where you are, and it's actually a really empowering position, especially if you're that person sitting on the throne going no and like doing like this, that some of y'all need to do that, and you've never been able to do that before because, you know, you've always been like the yes person. And I'm seeing some people just literally being treated like a doormat. And that, you know, I'm hearing this might be a kind of an empowering time to like say off with their head to certain people just because they've taken advantage. And in some cases, that judgment that's coming from you isn't like a negative critical thing. It's like a self-care, self-love thing. And it might be like stabilizing. So that's one way I was getting it. I was also getting some other stuff where they just started playing all the freaking sad songs for me about people depressed, about somebody saying no. And I was seeing the reconciliation, just like being rejected in some cases. People were saying for some people that there were like some relationships that didn't happen for financial reasons or became unwound because of financial reasons. And I'm hearing that in some cases it's just because like one person had and the other person, instead of feeling like empowered by what was being offered in congruence, because what one person had and what the other person had might have been like equal opposites of things that could come together and like supplement and make like a healthy whole. But I'm hearing in some case, and that's whole, W-H-O-L-E, not H-O-L-E. In other cases, it was a big hole, H-O-L-E, because one person was feeling very just like lacking, like in a lacking kind of position is how I'm seeing, and feeling like they didn't want, I don't know, you know, that dynamic with somebody else having what they didn't have, and some weird power struggle stuff happening. And then I was like hearing about how, you know, now there might be something coming up over the holiday period, especially because I'm hearing in some cases it's like, you know, this is the time, if you don't miss somebody at all ever, this might be the time of year that you did, because of the holidays and like the nostalgia and all the put-upons and all that stuff that happens. And so I was just seeing that, you know, some people were feeling sort of rocked in their emotional centers about not having given enough into these relationships, or like just coming out of it because, or not letting it happen because they were kind of not perceiving their worth in a good way. It's like they were perceiving their worth to be more about tangible things and like money, and how they were equating their own value and sort of like superimposing it into that situation, and it really actually being the reason why a relationship failed or never got off the ground or whatever. And they were playing me the song. It's an old Mariah Carey song that she did with Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's called Breakdown. And I just kept hearing it. It's like, you know, underneath the guise of a smile, gradually I'm dying inside, is like the words I kept hearing. And so they were saying that it's like, you know, some people are having like a point of reckoning within themselves, that this is like a self-judgment now about what they have actually sacrificed by kind of just being under illusions, you know, the guise of a smile. And so sometimes they were fooling themselves. You know, they say you can actually put yourself in a good state of being and mind by just smiling, you know, and you can do that. And what they were saying is that it's like somebody just feeling like they were just doing that to please others and just kind of regretting it. And I was hearing about some of you possibly not even wanting to go there, because it's like, you know, you might have this person that comes back. It could be you too, you know, I mean, this can work any way, but that the exchange wasn't going to happen because, you know, the judgment had been made. And so I'm hearing about like healthy sacrifices and sacrifices made in love, especially self-love. And so there's just been a lot of like self-love stuff coming up. And I'm just hearing that for a lot of people, it's really just about taking the time to do that right now, especially if you're feeling temptations. And temptation was really big. It was coming up a lot for the Capricorn, I think. There's a song by New Order called Temptation. And, you know, I just kept hearing the person, oh, it's the last time. Oh, it's the last time. There's a part there, and it's like the person like lying to themselves sometimes about like the last time they're going to do something. And I'm hearing in some cases it's not the Capricorn. It's like somebody coming to them and just being like, hey, you know, I'm never going to do that again. And, you know, I've changed or whatever. And I'm being told some people just need to remember that just because you're feeling nostalgic doesn't necessarily mean you want all that. And you're going to know if you want to or not. But, you know, be prepared for some opportunities to come back around, because we're about to step into a pretty powerful Mercury retrograde. It's the 14th while I'm recording this right now. It doesn't start for like another 5 days officially. We're in shadow period, and for like over a week, I've been seeing all kinds of crazy stuff happening. not even just directly here in my world, but like watching people with like car problems, technical issues. I had stuff happen with my phone. I've had really weird, fucktastic communication stuff with people, just like being calculating and manipulative. And so I'm just being told that a lot of this is like people having discord in their own mind about what's going on and trying to like arrive at conclusions, but in a way that's just kind of self-defeating. And so, you know, they're pointing to me a lot to the Gemini shadow side energy, because that might have been highlighted in this moon. I'm not calling Gemini's shadow. I'm not saying Geminis are bad or anything. I'm talking about the dualistic nature of this. And, you know, we did just have the supermoon, whose effects are going to pretty much carry over full lunar cycle. And it was in Gemini. And a lot of stuff might have come up. And Gemini has a tendency to have opposing sort of sides to itself, and if it flip-flops a lot, it can be a little chaotic. And under a big moon like this, where things that were in the shadow now come up to light, it could be sort of like frenzy energy. And I was just hearing that some of y'all might be faced with various temptations of different kinds that have to do with that sort of churn, and that it could definitely affect the emotional sector, and that now is more than ever time to really just trust what you're feeling inside. And if you're being too overstimulated by things around you, it's a great time to just say no sometimes, and just like, you don't even have to say no. You don't even have to tell people no. You can just like be no, and like to the world, and yes to you, and however that needs to happen for you to feel safe and whole. So I just wanted to put that one out there and tell you that I kept hearing it's the end, and they were showing me some people just taking very bold moves and initiatives. I was hearing bold initiatives because it's the end. And so, you know, that might hit you in different ways, but I was seeing people like spending their last money on plane tickets to get out of Dodge. I was seeing other people like buying excessive gifts, trying to like position offers that might already be turned down ahead of time, you know, before it even got there. And so it was just sounding like there's a lot of energy that has the potential to go very far one way or very far another way. And I'm just going to be the guy that reminds you that this is the time to sometimes just take a step back and just watch what happens. And if you're feeling pulled to do something really extreme, one way or the other, and that temptation is there, realize you're not going insane for that. It doesn't make you good, bad, or other. That means that you are feeling what is actually happening in the energy. And just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to act out. And so I'm also being told, too, that judge-looking person, or that judgment, I'm going to start shuffling now, that I was seeing, and we're going to go Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. But what I was hearing is that judge, in some cases, is literally kind of like sound counsel is what they're saying to me, and that, you know, some people just need to seek qualified guidance. Like, you know, if you think who a judge is like very well studied in their field, and they've spent years being a lawyer, learning the law, and then, you know, they took this other elevated seat where they can see both sides, and they are the one that people go to for the mandate. And I'm being told that, you know, the equivalent of that in your situation sometimes might be the one to access this time. And, you know, for some people, it's a good time to go for support, especially if there are some issues around addictive tendencies or having addictive personalities in your sphere, that it's a good time to get the support. And there's no shame in that. And, you know, it's it actually says a lot about someone's character, I believe, to be able to put some of their own shadow ego aside and to recognize when they could use support, and being able to go after that and not feeling like they're sacrificing their ego for it, because that's certainly not what it means to access help when you need it, especially if there's a real need. And I'm hearing in some cases there just is, and they keep telling me it's the end. And I was seeing a lot of people just wanting to like turn a new leaf. You know, they were actually even showing me the actual Page of Swords, and I think it was for, I want to say it was the Cancerians. Either the Cancerians or the Scorpio people. I don't want to check the water tribes, but they were showing it like this person was just ready to like turn a new leaf, is what I was hearing. And in some cases it was just like drawing a line in the sand and just saying, you know what, to here but no further. I'm not going to do that anymore. And that they're, you know, I'm actually seeing a lot of people being very empowered by taking the stance now before things get even more heightened with like all of the holiday festivities and all the drinks and all the invites and the freaking whatever comes with that, because some people were actually realizing that it was sucking them into directions that never really end up good. You know, they end up feeling kind of shitty, and that a lot of people have had such an alarming year here with 2016 that they're just kind of like, get me out of this like crazy place, and you know, 2017 is going to be different, and I'm stopping now. And so, you know what? Let's go with you, if that's you. And if you need help to get you what you need to feel sturdy in that, I'm here, and, you know, this is the time to look for that qualified professional or seek that out. You know, you might have good people in your life that you can already access for that. And in other cases, you know, you've maybe just been thinking about hiring somebody to help you in some form, you know, or maybe like get some sort of counseling, and I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing to do, and this is a great time of year to do it. So if that appeals to you, you know, please know that supporting yourself doesn't make you weak. That makes you informed, and that makes you intelligent, in my opinion, because it means that, you know, you're doing what you need to do to handle your business, you know, and you don't have to tell everybody what you're doing either. So, you know, sometimes that's all it is, and in some cases that's exactly what the problem is that you've got freaking naysayers everywhere and like people trying to tell you what to do. And maybe you're dealing with some Cancerian people, but that was coming up really strong with them, and they reminded me of that like sometimes the Cancerian person was just like hearing like bad information and just like not knowing what to do and needing to trust what was within. And so that's always going to be a very, very good guide for you. And if you haven't and you're interested in these sort of things, look into metaphysical stuff, you know, that's going to help you understand about your own spirit and like your own natural mediumship and your abilities. Maybe buy yourself a deck of cards if that appeals to you. You know, take a little time to study something new that's going to help you analyze, you know, or, you know, get an analyst. Hire a psychic, you know, hire a psychotherapist. Go see your counselor at your religious place or place of worship if you have something like that. But these are all good ideas of things that you can do. And on that note, if you are interested in a personal reading, I'm running specials through the 20th. So you can always email me at prayer@fathertribes.com. I would love to do that for you. Okay. And I just want to say again, too, because like they're reminding me again, I keep hearing that Mariah Carey song. It's called Breakdown. And they're just saying that some people are like really feeling sad for different reasons this time of year. You know, it can be a really rough time to be alone if you don't want to be, or if you're missing someone. And I'm hearing in some cases that they're like showing me a grand gesture that somebody's trying to make, but that it just like didn't happen very well. I'm hearing it was kind of like shifty is what they said, like whatever shifty means to you. I heard shifty. And it's not like somebody was like being, I don't think like trying to hurt anybody, but they're showing me something that just like really took on a life of its own and went awry. And some people may be experiencing that on different ends. So maybe that happened to you or around you, or maybe you were involved in something like that. I don't know. But I was seeing somebody just kind of like having some regrets and hearing that breakdown song, and it just kind of being like, a time where they were saying that, either you need to get real, like if this is you, that put that forward and was trying to like achieve an end, and it blew up in your face. I'm hearing that, this is a really good time to, instead of being like too judgmental of yourself, because they're showing me the judgment again and the judge, is to be more like self-aware of who you allow yourself to turn into when things start pressing you in ways that make you uncomfortable. Because I'm hearing, they're showing me engagements is what they're showing. Like I was hearing grand gestures, and I was seeing somebody like flying across the world and being like, I can't live without you, and like doing all this kind of stuff. And, the other person sort of being like, what? You did all this and before, and now you're here telling me that. And, I'm hearing in some cases, you're going to know if this is you, or, maybe this happens to you. Maybe somebody shows up out of the blue and is like, I'm in love with you, like after they've treated you horribly or put you through some weird something. Because I was hearing something shifty happened. But they're just saying, you'll be able to tell a lot about how you want to move forward, especially if somebody comes at you that way, based on how it feels in here when that offer comes. Because I'm hearing in some cases you're going to be like, no thanks. Some people are just going to be like, no fucking way. Like, no fucking way. And it just being like, no. And in other cases, though, I'm hearing it's kind of like, that hand's coming and it might be real tempting. You might want to take that person's hand, but you should pay really close attention to how you're feeling inside, because in some cases you already know what that's all about. And I'm just hearing that, like, how you're going to feel on this is going to tell you everything you need to know. And sometimes all you got to do is just see how that hand is coming at you, because sometimes that hand is going to come at you in a way where it's like, it's loving, it's giving, it's apologetic. It's like, it's a real good reconciliation. It feels good to you. In other cases, you're going to just know that it's like, it's something duplicitous, or it's something to control you, or it was done because now somebody feels like they lost out, And so I was just hearing in some cases it was just really bad engagement plans that, like, they were meant to be good because I was seeing like some surprise engagement stuff that somebody had been planning, but that it got really weird somehow. And I guess it just depends on, who the person is. But I saw a couple of different scenarios with that, and they were just cautioning me to reminding me to caution you about how that hand's coming towards you, because you're going to feel whether or not it's something that you even want to deal with. So I think that's all I got there. I'm going to go ahead and light a little bit more Kuan Yin. They've had me burning Kuan Yin around and around. I hear that there's a lot of soulmate mojo going on right now. It's been going on for a while. And a lot of the polarizing stuff that's happened this past 2016, I'm being told, was to help us remove blind spots from our own selves and our lives, and how we allow ourselves to act. And in some cases, it's been so alarming that it's completely redefined how we love ourselves and others. And in some cases, it's really opened up some amazing relationships, and not always in the most pleasant ways. And sometimes it's like really painful, It's like, wow, didn't know that was lurking beneath the surface. And I'm so glad that I get to see who I am now when things aren't going my way. And I'm hearing for a lot of you, The only reason why you came to that point of awareness is because you have been dealing with soulmates. And so, we can get really airy-fairy and like delusional about what soulmate means. In some cases, and soulmates take all kinds of varieties. There's so many different kinds of soulmates. Some soulmates are just going to be pure harmony, bliss, love, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Others are going to be karmic as hell. And it's literally going to feel like hell. And sometimes it will be very confusing because it might feel really wonderful at first, and then you realize there was something twisty in there. And all it was there to do wasn't to like rip your heart out, although that might have happened. What it was there to do was to help you see what's inside, because we are all trying to clean up our lives right now, and the universe is trying to help us. And that's why we've had all these like huge like oppositions and things going on. It's to show us what's been hidden. And once we feel like, we understand what that is, it's a whole lot easier to take steps in new directions. And so try to look at Mercury retrograde as an opportunity for that if you can, especially if you're healing through something that just feels like shit-tastic, because I'm hearing for some people it's been difficult. And so just give yourself the time to retreat into that space where you're not listening to noise and you're taking the time to consider what has been presented to you and allowing yourself to feel into that space and see if it's anything that even resonates in a way that feels good for you. I'm going to leave it on that. We've got some stuff lit here, and I'm going to go ahead and start with Capricorn. So, what's shaking, Capricorn? How you doing? Happy middle of the month to you. Happy holidays. I'll flip your cards. I was also told to remind you, if you didn't see the channel messages, you might want to watch it. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and just jump to the personal/romance sector. It says, let your friends help you. Being pulled several places, but there's a strong message here for help and assistance. Archetype, rescuer. Archangel Michael card says, ask Archangel Michael to help you with the situation. He could definitely be a friend. And then we've got a Hierophant here, which is sometimes, perhaps spiritual guidance or ethereal guidance. It's somebody that you might seek out for counseling. I'm hearing that this is a good month to do it. I'm hearing maybe 4 emotional weeks ahead here. On the mind, using the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, we've got the 4 Discontent and Boredom, which is a.k.a. your 4 of Cups card, if you were referencing like your Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, which this came out of. So I know I went through that kind of fast, but I think it's really playing into what was just channeled. So you might want to watch those if you didn't catch them. But your challenge style energy for the month, I like to use these archetype cards from Carolyn Mace because they give us a light and a shadow. And it sort of shows us how you might be tempted to act, how situations might feel around you, or how others might be coming at you. So what it says straight off the card here, Capricorn, light attributes, provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Shadow attributes state, assumes that the rescued will reciprocate, keeps the rescued one needy. They're saying pay really close attention to it too, because this is like perhaps an offer coming that you may or may not want. Right? And I'm hearing in some cases, though, it's just pointing to whether or not you're aware of it, because let's call this the point of awareness. Since this is what I'm using for the mental sector card, we've got an emotional card here, this 4, Discontent and Boredom. It's kind of almost like this person's just like melancholic. I'm hearing they need to clear their chakras and just like do a mental inventory of things, but it might be that they're not necessarily cognizant of the fact that they're in sort of a depressive state. And, that's pretty common with people. And so I'm just hearing a lot of rescue here. We've got an authoritative person here that perhaps has some sort of spiritual knowledge or awareness showing up in the physical material realm that probably could be accessed. And I'm also seeing just whether or not this has any sort of religious connotation or spiritual connotation or romantic connotation at all, it's saying that, well, let your friends help you. It's literally a call for help. And then here's another one. That one's, this is it right there too. Ask Archangel Michael to help you with the situation. So help. Somebody might have been calling for help to see that life preserver show up, and help showed up, right? So I'm just going to remind you, since this is on your mind, it might be kind of like a meh sort of time or feeling, that there's help here, because something actually did show up in your world. And this one can be a little elusive. I know I'm calling spiritual material realm. Sometimes this is just like, for me, hearing like the higher power or whatever. And so in some cases, this might even be some of y'all how you're showing up. But I'm also hearing in some cases, this is actually the person that you're dealing with. Whether you need to call on this person or somebody that's just playing a big role. But this is a lot of times a very Taurian sort of card or energy for me, partially because it's a 5, you know what I mean? 5, May, that's like where a lot of Taurus birthdays occur. But if it's nothing to do with that, it could just have something to do with the structures and foundations in your life. And that stuff being redefined. And I'm hearing in some cases that that's really what this rescue is all about. This is like you taking the time to redefine what these spaces are, what they mean in your life, and you actually offering a rescue to yourself. And in that case, that might be you showing up like this as the one who has gained this knowledge and is acting in an authoritative, responsible way, and maybe just needing some assistance too. Both things can be true. And I'm hearing that for some of y'all, it's really just, reminding you, especially if you're taking initiatives to go into, some sort of role where you're helping others with the things that you've learned. Well, maybe you need help too. And sometimes it's how you pray. Sometimes it's where you're putting your energy. Maybe sometimes it's like leaning on your faith more. I'm hearing some people are having a test of their own faith, and that's why this is showing up. And it would make perfect sense this time of year. For others, I'm hearing that this might have to do with just some blahs and discontent. And in some cases, it's because someone may have, I'm hearing, gotten news about a union and just feeling like, a little thrown by it because it was something that they wanted for themselves or a person that they wanted for themselves, and that, now might really be a good time to lean on support. It says right here, ask for and accept support from others. That can play out in different ways depending on what you have going on in your life and who you are. But I'm really hearing in some cases it has a lot to do with missing someone and just feeling kind of like, maybe you need a rescue in some way. I'm going to open up the book here and tell you what it says. Rescuer provides strength and support to others in crisis. Second one says, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. The third one says, shadow rescuer assumes that the rescued party will reciprocate, aims to keep the rescued one needy. And the last one says, observe whether you've always sought to help those in peril, whether for altruistic or selfish motives. And so, in some cases, this might just be kind of going between that and feeling maybe a little ho-hum about it. I know that sometimes too, especially if you're showing up like this, let's just say this is you, Capricorn. Maybe this is you showing up, like with the sage person that others come to for guidance and information, that others come to for a rescue, and in some cases it's like maybe you're out of spoons, you've like given all your spoons out, and Capricorn's like, Jesus, can I get a freaking spoon? And just feeling like, hey, maybe I need a dose, And so I'm hearing that this is just a good time to call on your faith too. And if you don't have it, or you've been considering that, or you're finding yourself in like an emotional state where you need some help, it might be a good time to do a little soul searching and seek out, some spiritual guidance or counseling. Because what's on your mind definitely has an emotional sort of pull to it, even if it is sort of like blah and like flat, because that can be a very flat feeling, 4 cups. This is the 4 cups and other systems. It's still emotional. And so sometimes it's like those emotions that you feel them, but it's like they're not getting you anywhere, like nothing's going anywhere, and it's just like a stuck feeling. And I'm hearing in a lot of cases that it's just like needing to just call on whatever that other assistance is. So, I'm seeing help everywhere here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle book and read to you what it says about the discontent and boredom, aka 4 cups. All right, Capricorn. This card signifies a time when you may experience stagnation, discontent, and boredom. Feelings of restlessness and impatience surround you. A relationship, project, or situation isn't moving forward fast enough, and it could be draining you emotionally and energetically. You're longing for change, and although one door may be closing, don't focus all of your energy on it, as opportunity will soon knock. A window or another door could quickly open, and if your attention and awareness isn't focused, you could easily miss it. Watch for synchronistic events that bring books, speakers, workshops, and new people into your life. Any of these could possibly hold a message for you. Have faith in divine timing and know that everything changes for a reason. This card acts as a reminder that it's a perfect time to reevaluate and search within your heart and soul for fresh insights. And I'm being told that's probably why this is showing up here. Fresh perspective and insights might come in this form. And I'm hearing in some cases it's actually redefining how you want to work with the world. Like 5s are always movement and change. This is a major arcana here. Okay, so this is a major influence and sway of energy. And what I'm seeing is that since this is like affecting the physical material realm, however this energy is being injected into your world, even if it's slow and it doesn't feel like it's moving fast enough and you're just like, geez, whatever, know that this is major energy. Major energy changes how we do things. It's not just like a mood. This might just be a mood, and that can pass. And it's not a big deal. This person isn't hurting any. I mean, if they turned around, look how beautiful it is out there. And it's like, this guy, I'm just going to say guy, she, he, they, whoever that person is, your own gender. This person here has turned their back to the light. And maybe all they need to do is just kind of like turn around. I was getting a message earlier about like just smiling. You put a smile on your face and you can kind of change your disposition. And so this isn't like bad energy. This is like somebody that doesn't realize that they need to clear their chakras, okay? And that, they're facing the shadow here, and that it might make more sense to just kind of turn around and, maybe they're trying to feel supported here, they're holding on to something. And so it's another call for some assistance. I'm hearing you might have some friends that can help you do that. So it doesn't have to have a religious connotation, but in some cases I'm hearing this is freaking awesome. I'm hearing that it might be kind of like uncertain emotional stuff, maybe feeling like it's moving a little slow, but in some cases you might have some really kick-ass friends who are coming to your rescue and who have come to your rescue. And, a big-ass archangel that did come to your rescue, and I'm hearing in some cases that might set you up with somebody that possibly even has marriage potential. It's not saying you're going to get married this month. You might not even be looking for it. Maybe you're already married. This could be speaking about your marriage, but I'm hearing in some cases that some of y'all that have just been bored, emotionally feeling blah or whatever, might actually have some really good friends that are coming to your rescue. You might meet somebody that actually has really great potential. And so I'm just hearing it's like, if you're not feeling it, don't get too caught up in this. And if you are, just remember what I said. All you have to do is turn around. you can still hold on to the ledge. You know, maybe that ledge is your support. Maybe each one of these little things is like a friend or somebody that's like ready to be there for you. And I'm just feeling like you have all kinds of friends, because there's like 6 people in this picture here. I don't think I'd ever counted that before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's like some statues that I'm guessing are like saints. I mean, there's a lot of support here. And so I'm seeing like this is a lot of support, right? There's a lot there. And so the thing is, it's like, make sure that you're not like putting yourself in a way where you're not counting your own blessings, because what I'm hearing is that you're actually very abundant. And I'm actually seeing a progression here. I'm seeing somebody that's called on the help, someone that's receiving the help, somebody that has support behind them, and it goes from 4 to 5, and then boom, there's the rescue. So, you know, it's all really how you want to look at it right now. So just keep in mind that, especially during the retrograde, it's possible that things can kind of pull you one way or the other, and it might feel a little chaotic sometimes, and it's okay. That doesn't mean you're nuts. It just means that sometimes we have to adjust how we support ourselves, and a lot of times it's just how we're like focusing our own view. So I think that that's an important thing to keep in mind there, and I'm going to go ahead and just open up this book here on the Romance Angels, and we're going to see what it says about let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others, Capricorn, if you want. The Romance Angels are helping you via other people to the degree that you'll allow this assistance to occur. This card indicates that you need to be more willing to ask for guidance, especially within the context of your love life. For instance, discuss your feelings, hopes, and dreams, then allow others to help you. Perhaps they'll offer support, give advice, or even know of a potential partner among their acquaintances. I'm hearing in some cases that's how you met this character, and that it might be on. And that's really, I'm seeing the engagement. Okay, look, I'm going to stop you right here. I might be messing this up for somebody, but they're saying for somebody that the engagement that you were waiting on, don't give up. That somebody, you might be waiting 4 weeks is what I'm hearing extra, because like now this person wants to wait until after this messy retrograde period. They said it might actually be 5 weeks for some of y'all. And I'm seeing this as like an engagement ring that's like being presented. That's really cool. So anyway, don't give up hope, all right? This card is a signal that you'd benefit from spending quality time with your friends. If you're currently in a relationship, you'll get renewed enthusiasm by having regular outings with good friends. If you're single, then spending time with these special people will get you out of the house and bring in fresh energy. Your friends may also introduce you to a wonderful romantic partner. And some of you already know that, though, because I'm hearing that some of y'all, you know, you've been together. I'm hearing it might be like new. It might only be like 4 months or something, but, you know, they're saying if you're having any situations in the relationship, it might just be weird communication shit. You know, try not to let that get in your head. Seek out some help if you need to, okay, and really work on your communication, because if this is about your partner, whether or not you're married, this is showing up. And this is really strong. This is one of the cards that shows like the guy that marries people, right? And so take care of yourself, take care of your relationships, and take care of your emotions, especially if you're feeling like you're mopey. I'm hearing some of y'all just might need some more sunlight. And so if you can't just get that sunlight, find a way to supplement your diet and your life with things that are making you happy, and definitely clear your chakras. And let your friends help you. All right, I'm going to leave it on the advice from Archangel Michael to ask Archangel Michael to help you with the situation, because we've got a big-ass angel that showed up here to illuminate your path and to protect you, Capricorn. And I'm hearing in some cases this might be a really good friend of yours, and that sometimes, you know, all you got to do is just check in with this person, because they always help you see yourself more kindly, and we can all use that. So I'm going to leave you on that, and we're going to say a prayer. All right, dear Archangel Michael, thank you for assisting me with my situation. Please help me be filled with faith and peace at all times. Amen. All right, Capricorn, that's what I got for you. I hope it made sense. I hope you liked it. So thumbs up, share it with a friend, subscribe. Hit me up if you would like a personal private reading or a prayer. I'm running a special through the 20th for all orders placed by the 20th. Prayer at fatheroftribes.com. If I don't hear from you, Mary, whatever. And I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when I'm back for another reading. All right, bye for now. Gonna light a little sage here, sip on that tea, and we'll be jumping into Taurus next. What's going on, Taurus? How you doing? Happy middle of the month to you. Happy holidays. Gonna flip your cards. All right. It's interesting. Reminding me of something I was seeing with the water tribes. I just cut the water tribe readings before I jumped into this, the air tribes today, and I was getting a lot of stuff in the channel messages. You might have Pisces in your chart. We're dealing with a Pisces. I was getting some kind of judgment thing between the martyr and the Don Juan archetypes, and like flip-flopping, and something about the knight rushing towards the Queen of Swords that was upside down. Some of y'all might know what that means. If you don't, you might want to check those messages. There was a lot that's been coming up. But you all actually got the Martyr card to show up as your archetype, which I use these as like the challenge style energy. So for like the next couple weeks, second half of December into January, we've got the Martyr showing up. And this is basically perhaps how you might be tempted to act, how situations might be feeling around you. In other cases, just like how others are coming at you. And I'm going to read it right off the card. It says, Light Attributes. Learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow Attribute. Addiction to self-pity. And I'm hearing that this is just a time for you to trust. This card actually showed up. It says trust right here. I'm using this deck here, Romance Angels, for the personal, sometimes romance sector. It says the situation is calling for you to have faith. It doesn't have to be romantic. I mean, this does look definitely romantic, and for some of y'all, you know, you might be dealing with some trust issues in a relationship. And that could very much be the case, but what I'm hearing is that some of y'all have stumbled into your truth, like your actual truth, and that's what the trust is. It's like you trusting in the purpose of your life. And in some cases, that's actually what is like carrying this person. It's like they're in their heart center, and like all these hearts are like darts and flowers are like lifting them up towards their life purpose. And I'm here for some of y'all. It has everything to do with love. Love is on your mind. For the mental sector, I use the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, and I love this card. It's pretty beautiful. This is Love Begins. This is your Ace of Cups card. And in some cases, I mean, that love doesn't have to be like for another person. It could be just for yourself. I'm hearing in some cases this is learning how to overcome some of the shadow stuff. And I'm hearing in some cases it's just like completely having fallen in love or about to with that light that shines inside of you, that's lit up your world and taken you out of situations where, you know, there may have been some addictions, you know, even if it wasn't to self-pity. I'm hearing there were some addictions. And look at this. Physical material realm, we got a Three of Wands showing up. I like this card a lot. This was actually showing up to me at the beginning when I was channeling the messages. You might just want to catch them. There's so many messages, I can't remember them all right now. And it wouldn't be time effective for me to rehash them when you can just rewind. So, Three of Wands shows up in physical material realm. That's like a card of somebody that's made some plans, grounded plans, and things that gave them like that inner fire. And they're just like, okay, here we go. This person's like literally waiting for the ships to come in. It's like, you know, they've done the work. Something is rooted in the ground so much that they can't even reach on it for support. It might even be like starting to manifest some things. You see all that green stuff on it? You know, it's like growing things. And those green things might be the things that are giving their heart happiness. You know, it's something that's made them feel fertile. And in some cases, what I'm hearing is that it might not have actually come back yet. And so the real cautionary note here is, remember, we're entering into this retrograde. Things can be slow. And that you have found your truth in many cases, and this is about you trusting in that and knowing that these things are going to return. And so I'm being reminded to tell you about the law of reciprocity. I've been talking about it in some of the videos. I want to look what that is all about and take a look at that, but look up the word reciprocity. It's talking about what you give and what you receive. And so that's a better explanation of the law of attraction to me than what most people tell you is fucking bullshit, stupid shit about law of attraction. Airy-fairy thinking, and you know what? That's helpful to get you into that mode, but until you actually take the steps, it's just Neptunian bullshit. And so, you know, that's people that are addicted to self-pity sometimes because they're not taking the steps. In this situation, I'm seeing if this is you waiting, that's the person that's taken some steps or is about to take some steps. And they know that these are going to be grounded. And so if you're seeing this and waiting to find out whether or not it makes sense to take some steps, I'm hearing you already know what you need to do because trust is showing up. And on your mind, something is pulling at you in an emotional way. And it might just be the beginning of something because that is an ace. So let's see what the Carolyn Mace Archetype Cards book says on the Martyr. I'm going to expand that definition for you here, Taurus. Okay, Martyr. First bullet point says, has the courage of one's convictions going so far as to die for a cause. Second one says, suffers that others may be redeemed either spiritually or politically. The last one says, shadow martyr utilizes a combination of service and suffering for others as a means of controlling and manipulating them, related to the victim. And the last one says, look for a pattern of giving yourself to causes for the betterment of others regardless of the consequences. So it's about knowing when to give and knowing when to let go in some cases. And I'm hearing in some cases that, you know, you might have a really good balance of that because this person's giving, and here it's like they're waiting. And so, you know, maybe they can let go a little bit. You know, they're not gripping onto everything. It's just kind of holding on, you know, to one and waiting. And I'm hearing a lot of this has to do with how you are allowing yourself to see it. And a lot of it has to do just with like your emotional center. They're reminding me of the yellow candle. I've had a yellow candle pretty much burning for a few days over here when I started channeling these mid-monthlies. I started with fire tribes because it's like still Sag birthdays right now. And they were telling me something about the yellow candle and just helping people remember to check in with their own inner self and how they're allowing themselves to witness their own value. Because in some cases, we've had some things put in our minds just by life and others about value systems and how we quantify worth and what it's worth that we're doing or giving and what we're receiving. Okay, so again, this law of reciprocity, and that a lot of this is kind of redefining how we do things. And I was seeing some people just getting freaking pissed about old behavior and like kicking over drinks and throwing out relationships that didn't work anymore and like wanting to leave jobs that don't serve anymore. And I'm seeing some people just pouring out drinks and being like, you know what? I'm just gonna, that's for my homies, you know, like pouring out a drink for their homies and like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on this rainbow of light above my head and the things that have shown me where my life purpose is and the things that are giving me wings, trust in my heart and following this heart space that's, you know, taking me in this direction. And so I really like it. I mean, it's like these kind of look like they're working together, don't they? So there's a lot of heart stuff that's coming up right now, this part of the month, and I'm just, you know, I just want to remind you that, look, the self-pity thing, they keep showing me that. Sometimes this time of year can be really hard for people, even if they're not rationalizing it this way. It can still pull on the emotions in ways, and it can be a real drain in some cases, especially when people might feel like they've done work and they're like waiting for something, because sometimes that's what this can be too. It can be a little frustrating and feeling like, oh my God, is it ever going to happen? You know, and just feeling like that. And just realize that that might be exacerbated just because of the conditions that are going on right now. And you know, people don't always think about it that way. And so let me give you a little help here, okay? If it's freezing freaking cold outside and you don't pay attention to the weather and you go out dressed like not appropriately for it, you might get cold. And there's a certain amount of responsibility you can take for that. You know, you could have paid attention to what was going on outside before you went out and got dressed. And so to that level of it, you can take responsibility. But where it doesn't make sense to take responsibility is to be like mad at yourself because it's cold. You know what I mean? It's like, how are you going to get mad at yourself that it's winter? I mean, duh, right? So some of this is just like, we're not thinking about things right. And so realize that if Mercury's in retrograde, it's not your fault. There's a big planet, and it comes back around this way a few times a year, right? When it does, stuff goes a little slow. It's kind of like, hey, if you live in Colorado like me, it might be real nice one day, and then like the next day, we might be getting dump trucks of snow. And you know what? I'm not going to get mad at myself that it started freaking snowing. I'm just going to pay attention so that I know what boots I need to wear and how I need to gear myself up to prepare for it so that I'm not incompetent in my life, right? And so I'm hearing in some cases, all you need to do is give yourself a more qualified way to view what's going on. And if you feel like you've really been working on something and you're kind of just like waiting for it, because I'm hearing in some cases, this is you, Taurus, and that this, whether or not you have fire in your chart, because this is fire, right? Wands. This could also be people you're dealing with. Maybe with strong fire element. They might have sun, moon, or rising in Aries, Leo, Sag. But if it's you, you might have done your work. Maybe you just feel like you're just like standing there waiting and it's like, I know what I want. I like this. This is what I want. And it's like not happening fast enough, and you don't want to get into that self-pity thing feeling like, oh, it's not going to happen. They're reminding you to trust. And I'm reminding you that the weather forecast out there might be affecting how things come together, and the last thing you want to do is be feeling like disempowered when what you've actually called in are experiences to step into your life's purpose. So keep it in mind if that's for you, and I think it is for many of you. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the Jakob Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book. We're going to see what it says about that Love Begins card, because it's looking kind of juicy for some of y'all. I mean, look, let's just say, right? Those are two different hands there. I don't know if you could tell that. That person is wearing some kind of salmon-colored shirt. There's a yellow shirt. These are, I think, two different hands pouring the same emotion into this. And there's like all these colors. It's yellow. It like makes people feel good on their insides. It's making rainbows. And then right next to it, we got this love and trust showing up. Looks like it's like guided together. There's even like angelic support. And it's like this little angel's like pushing this lady. He's like, go, 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 go. And I'm gonna harpoon your ass if you don't do it. I'm gonna help you, trust. You know, and you got some life purpose here. I mean, there's some good stuff showing up here. So don't let yourself get addicted to feeling like, you know, that when this is just the other side of it, and it might just have to do with how you're looking at it. So here's what it says. Your cup is about to overflow with joy, happiness, and positive feelings. This is the first of the emotions cards and therefore signifies that a new love opportunity beckons. This doesn't necessarily have to be physical love, but could also represent the passion and devotion for an idea, goal, or even a new creative endeavor. Which makes a lot of sense. This could be very creative endeavor. This could be new business starting. Spiritual business. Good shit. This would be a perfect time to open yourself and your heart to the higher vibrations and loving energy of the universe. When past issues are resolved, when forgiveness for others as well as yourself has been attained, and when your heart is truly open and ready to receive, the new roads leading you toward love will be revealed. I'm hearing in some cases it already has, and that's why this is showing up on your mind. So, and if it hasn't, just know this is a good time for the ships to come in. And I'm just hearing in some cases, look, it might be a blast from the past. It might be something coming right back into your orbit. And that this trust is more about trusting your own intuition and your own guidance on this. Because you may or may not want to deal with the situation. In some cases, I'm hearing you might have an addict that's coming back into your life. And they may or may not have changed. And what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're really checking in with yourself. And in some cases, just having faith in that. So I'm going to open up the Romance Angels Oracle Cards book. Tell you what it says on that trust card. All right, Taurus. The situation is calling for you to have faith. In response to your question, the Romance Angels ask you to trust that everything is exactly as it needs to be. Do not add fear to the situation, which will only create drama and negativity. Instead, the angels ask you to release your worries to them. Your present situation is here to bring you blessings and personal growth, leading to the beautiful romantic love that you so deeply desire and deserve. As you follow the pathway you're currently on, trust that it's leading you in the right direction. Your faith uplifts your energy, which in turn attracts positive experiences and people, including your romantic partner. This truly is a situation where with faith, all things are possible. And I'm hearing in some cases, it's like, I'm hearing that you might have called in a really wonderful spiritual partner. And that, it's helping you realize what you're all about inside. It's just helping you see yourself. Even if it's something that, this person's alone, This person's alone here. This person's alone here too. And this person's alone here too. In some cases, we see people coming together in different ways, but it doesn't have to be about, getting into a romantic partnership. It could just be about that having awoken for you, whatever your purpose is, and learning to transcend, right? Nature of service to oneself or a cause. It sounds really powerful to me, and I hope that you're really taking the time this part of the month to go within and to give yourself the heart healing that you need so that you are aware of this and that you're really approaching it from a way that's healthy, like that the way that you're viewing it and the way, like, let's just say this is you. This person's looking at all this yellow. That yellow is a balanced ego. If it was this way, maybe not, right? This way, it's balanced ego. It's like somebody knowing their value, somebody having trust, somebody having faith in what it is that they're all about. And you know what? If they're standing in that, see, they're dressed in this red here, that's giving them grounding and security. And that's what a Taurus wants anyway, right? So I'm going to leave you on that with the advice from Archangel Michael that this is your life's purpose. We're going to seal it up with this prayer here for you, Taurus. Dear Archangel Michael, you know the details of my divine life purpose, and I ask you to help me be aligned with my goals. Please clearly guide my actions so that I'm taking the best steps to fully manifest my wonderful, meaningful career. Amen. All right, Taurus, that's what I got for you. Hope you liked it. Hope it made sense. If it did, share with a friend. Thumbs it up. Subscribe. Hit me up if you want a prayer or a personal. Running some specials through the 20th for all orders placed by then. And if I don't hear from you, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, whatever it is that you're doing. Have a happy one. And I will see you again soon. Okay? I'm going to light a little more sage here, and we're going to wrap everything up on Virgo. All right, I think I'm done wiggling. What's going on, Virgo? How you doing? Happy middle of the month to you. Happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate. Flip your cards. All right. Wow, Virgo. Hierophant's been showing up a good deal. I don't know if you're dealing with Taurian people planning to get married, or maybe have some Capricorn in your chart. You might want to check the other readings here. There were a lot of channel messages coming up too, but some of y'all dealing with all of that. 5 of Wisdom showing up on the mind, John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, and that is actually the Hierophant. If you're using like a more traditional system like this one here, we've actually got the Emperor showing up right next to it. Now I'm hearing in some cases it has a lot to do with some parental dynamics, child divine showing up as your child style energy with the archetypes, but we're also seeing romantic feelings in your personal / romance sector. I hear congrats for some of y'all that, whether or not you realize it, I'm hearing some of y'all might be marrying baby daddy, is what they're saying. I don't know, something about the child. But in other cases, I'm hearing, this might even just be you. Showing up really wise right now, Virgo. I'll slow down here a little bit. I can jump all over the place with these because the messages come fast. But In the mental sector, this part of the month, the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, we've got the Wisdom card showing up, aka the Hierophant. And sometimes that card, because of the 5, will have something to do with Taurus for me. So you might have a dealing with a Taurus if there's not Taurus somewhere showing your own chart. But in other cases, like you got the same card in a different deck, like the Capricorns actually got the same card, but showing up in their physical material realm. So they got the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot version of that just now. So there might be some, cross points here with all of us. And that's part of why I read this way. I like doing it this way. It helps me connect dots and stories for people. And I get really good feedback on that, being able to help them toggle and see different lenses of the same thing that might be going on from another person's vantage point. So this might be a good time for you to do that, especially because it is a Mercury retrograde. And I'm hearing that that's just like, in some cases, this is you all just being wise and knowing that you're being wise. I'm hearing in some cases, y'all might have written something really important, because I'm seeing all this light shooting off of this book, and I'm not being told it's a great time to launch it yet, but I'm hearing in some cases it's like bringing a new life into your life, like a new form of life, even if it's not like a child that you're actually calling in or having a child, because that energy right there in some cases might just be you embodying that. And I'm hearing in some cases, you've got some stories to tell. So let's see what the card says here on the Child Divine. Since this is what I use as like your challenge style energy, it might be how you're like tempted to act, how other things might be feeling around you, or how others are kind of acting towards you. The card says, light attributes, innocence, purity, and redemption, suggest a special connection with the divine. Shadow attribute state, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. And in some cases, that's exactly what's going on. I'm hearing for somebody that this has to do with like a parental figure and like a relationship that, well, it says your feelings are real and worth exploring. I'm hearing in some cases that there's like perhaps some differences with regard to ideologies and needing like parental assistance or approval because of the dynamics between parent and child, and that this is a time right now where this is being kind of highlighted in Virgo's life, and they're really realizing what their self-respect might be worth for them in terms of how they are acting out in their life. And I'm hearing in some cases, some of y'all need to know this is about your self-respect, and that not everybody's going to get it, is what I'm hearing. And for you, they want me to show you that. Again, there's something that's important for you to know. Feelings are real and worth exploring, Virgo. And I'm hearing some of y'all just know that. And that's what all that light is around your head. It's like you considering your healthy sense of self. There's that yellow again. I've got this yellow candle that's been burning for days. It's telling me some of y'all need to focus on your own like third chakra and like how it is that you value your own self and like the things that make you feel good about who you are. I'm hearing in some cases, something gave you some new life, like just made you feel like young and vibrant, and it might have looked something like that. I'm hearing in some cases, this is like some crusty character that's like, no, or, you being too firm on yourself. And in other cases too, well, there's the Taurus again. A lot of people call this an Aries card. I guess it can be. A lot of times I see this more as like Taurus. And, some Taurus birthdays do happen in the month of 4, too, in April. So there's a lot of Taurus vibe here. And some of y'all just might be dealing with a Taurus or have that in your chart, too. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up the archetype deck book, and we're going to see what it says on that Child Divine. I'm actually just going to read to you about the child, too, because The child is like, it's an archetype that we all have. You know, we all have like, I think like 4 different archetypes in our team, and we all get a child. And there's different ones. Let me flip through here. And they all have different meanings. I'm going to read to you what it says about child here. The child. The mature personality of the child archetype nurtures that part of us that yearns to be lighthearted and innocent, expecting the wonders of tomorrow regardless of age. This part of our nature contributes greatly to our ability to sense playfulness in our lives, balancing the seriousness of adult responsibilities. The balanced child is a delight to be around because the energy that flows from this part of our personality is infectious and brings out the best in others, as well as in ourselves. The child's many aspects include the wounded child, abandoned or orphaned child, magical or innocent child, nature, eternal, divine, and dependent child. These energies may emerge in response to various situations in which you find yourself. Yet the core issue of all the child archetypes is the dynamic tension between dependency and responsibility. You must learn when to take responsibility, when to have a healthy dependency, when to differentiate yourself from or oppose the group, and when to embrace it. Each of the variants of the child archetype is characterized by certain tendencies, including shadow tendencies. So, you got one of my favorite ones. I love this divine child. I'm going to read to you what it says specifically about that, because you've got 3 bullet points and a tip to keep in mind. All right, Virgo. First bullet point says, closely related to magical/innocent child, but distinguished by its redemptive mission. Second bullet point says, associated with innocence, purity, and redemption. Godlike qualities that suggest a special union with the divine itself, which might be why this wisdom is showing up here, because this person as an archetype is often like God or spirit showing up in the reading, and maybe that's why you're feeling so illuminated here, or what's showing up on your mind. And it says, shadow divine child manifests as an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. The tip to keep in mind here, Virgos, is to ask whether you see life through the eyes of a benevolent, trusting God, goddess, or tend to respond to others with fear of being hurt, or with a desire to hurt others first. Very good to keep in mind. I'm hearing in some cases that's like what this authority figure is all showing up here too. It's like some cases it's like waffling between that, you know, responsibility and dependency stuff. And in other cases it's like maybe somebody that kind of ruled you is what I'm hearing, and having to deal with that right now. Because if this is a person, an actual person aside from you showing up in your life, you know, that's a pretty stern sort of character. You know, they're definitely fatherly, definitely like husbandly, and this person, I mean, look at that seat they're on. That's a pretty serious looking throne, and it's got like these ram's heads all over it. It's like, it's not being fucked with, put it that way. And in some cases, this has been like so stern, like, I mean, this guy's all suited up like in armor underneath that, and it doesn't look like he's moving much, but he doesn't seem like somebody, look at that look in his eye. He's not someone to be trifled with, put it that way. And in some cases, I'm hearing that this is like, had that negative sort of force, like it's been forceful on some of you, and that it's sort of left like a negative imprint, even if it wasn't there to do that. It could be very structured and loving too, but it can be hard. And I'm hearing in some cases, this is knowing where to draw the line and what is going to work for you now. Because some of y'all haven't really given yourself the space, because you grew up with that, to feel like, you know, you can do certain things for yourself without accessing maybe this other person's approval. and that this is a real time where your self-respect is being called upon. And look at this. All right. This child's got like all this like self-esteem, healthy self-esteem around them, all that yellow and orange and vibrance. And here, that's what's lighting up this person's mind. And here, it's like what the self-respect person is clothed in, right? It's like what they're wearing. And that's what's like giving them their wings here. So I'm hearing in some cases, this might just be a really good month. I'm picking up on the 4 here again. Really good month, because there's going to be about 4 weeks in the retrograde cycle. Maybe 4 to 5 weeks, okay? To focus on what it is that's lighting up your sky, lighting up, illuminating your path, giving you all this knowledge that others rely on you for, because in some cases, this is just how you show up in life, and you're just starting to become aware of that. And in some cases, this is you going 4 to 5. This is a lot of energy. These are major arcana in both of these cards here. So this is like the kind of stuff that changes how people do things. I'm hearing in some cases it's all about your love life. It might be all about that. Wanting that more than whatever it was that kept you feeling disempowered, or maybe like you were just a child or childish, doing childish things. So you're going to know how it hits you there. I'm just going to open up the book here. John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle Deck book. We're going to read about that 5 wisdom card. All right, Virgo. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This card illustrates that there's a spiritual teacher who is about to influence you or step into your life to impart his or their wisdom. Look around. Is there someone in your life who has the acumen, education, knowledge, and ability to integrate spirituality and its laws into the constraints of the physical world? This could be a compassionate person who offers guidance and inspiration and reminds you that you're so much more than a physical being. You're also a spiritual being with unlimited potential. You may have also drawn this card to confirm that it's time to reach out and find an organization or group of like-minded souls. Being part of a group where you can be yourself, share your thoughts, and get valuable feedback can infuse you and encourage you to be all that you can be. Kindred support helps you live life to your highest ideals, finding the true inspiration and enlightenment that's part of your soul. Over time, the student often becomes the teacher, so don't be surprised when others seek you out and find you. This card of wisdom is letting you know that you have so much to share, whether you realize it or not. Traditional tarot archetype, the Hierophant. I'm hearing that, in a lot of cases, especially if there's been like that, weird power struggle thing, this is the time where you realize the best of what you're made of. And that you have this childlike divinity and also the structure within yourself. And in some cases, this is actually how you're showing up. You're showing up like somebody that has made it to this throne in some way, and that they are planted firmly and in a grounded way, and maybe they've balanced this. And that this is because of the self-respect that they've given themselves and how they've chosen to act upon the wisdom that they've attained. So it's a call for self-responsibility. And it's looking good, Virgo. And for some of y'all, look, God bless you if you get that, right? Who doesn't want that? I guess a lot of people don't. Y'all some crazy motherfuckers, so you can send it my way if you don't want it. But here we go. Romantic feelings. It says your feelings are real and worth exploring. So I want to see what the book says, because for some of y'all, I'm hearing romance. And romance that has put you into alignment with your own self-respect. I'm hearing it's good. I'm hearing in some cases, you might have found a marriage partner. You might have found a spiritual partner. You might have written a book together. In some cases, you found like the perfect husband, somebody that's going to be with you until you're old and crusty. So let's see what romantic feelings says here. You don't have to get crusty. Old doesn't have to be crusty. All right, romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring, Virgo. The stirrings within your heart represent the song of romance calling to you. This card comes to you as guidance to follow the pathway of those feelings. Perhaps you've met someone who made your heart leap and you wondered whether to pursue him, her, or them. Well, this card says that the answer is yes. Take action by flirting, asking the person out on a date, or making your feelings known, if you want. If you've recently been longing for more romance in your life, this card is a signal to take charge of making that happen. You can romance yourself by, for example, treating yourself to a luxurious massage or pedicure, buying yourself presents, or watching a romantic movie. You can also actively pursue and attract romance. First, affirm that it is already inside of you. A partner definitely brings these feelings to the surface. However, they were within you as a potential initially. The more you affirm, I am romantically loved, the more you attract this condition within yourself and through a relationship. In some cases, you'll receive this card as a signal that you are ready for a new relationship. It then guides you to take action, such as being aware of people you meet who may be potential partners, as well as frequenting places where such potential partners may be. These would be locations or events associated with your hobbies and interests. I'm hearing in some cases, that's what this is. It's just wanting all that, being ready for a marriage partner, and showing up hey, I'm ready to do this. I'm maybe even thinking about, my future and wanting somebody to have kids with. And maybe you need to go where others like you are. In some cases, it might be, wherever your spiritual, religious kind of inclinations are, places where you get support and where you're doing the things that are lighting up your world, because that's really where you're going to meet somebody that's compatible to you. So I hope you'll do that if that's what you want, because that's the best chance of you finding somebody that's going to be on the same page with you. Because really, the advice here that we're going to leave it on now is to have self-respect right now, Virgo. So I'm going to leave it on that advice. It came from Archangel Michael. It's a great tip. We're going to seal it up on your prayer. Dear God and angels, thank you for helping me see myself as you see me through the eyes of love. Thank you for honoring and respecting me. Please guide me to do the same for myself and grant me the courage to speak up on my own behalf. I ask you for your protection in all of my relationships so that I am surrounded by loving and kind people. Amen. All right, Virgo, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. Hope it made sense. If it did, thumbs brother up. Share it. Subscribe. Hit me up if you'd like a personal private reading. Running specials for all orders placed by the 20th. And also available for private prayers. So, prayer@fatheroftribes.com. And if I don't hear from you, have a wonderful holiday season. Take care of yourself. Be safe. I'll see you again soon.